I'm going to
Okay.
move on to the next caller. I believe is Brandon. Are you there?
Hey Andrew, yeah, I'm
Hey,
here.
hey, Brandon. How you doing today?
A lot better than yesterday and the day before that, that's for sure.
Well, very cool.
How
So
are you?
I'm doing good today. It's been a little while since I've talked to you. The last time I talked to you, I think was on Douglas's show.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something like that. So I've been doing a lot of Douglas's show lately, and the last one we were kind of under attack, under sabotage, under. It's very quite evident that I was under some kind of um, jumbling of my mind, my physical body, and everything.
Hmm.
um, and I couldn't express myself clearly and articulate myself clearly enough. And I've listened to a lot of your shows, and like you're spot on. I don't know how you are, but you're spot on about everything, including like things like corners of the room, which I rarely hear about anyone talk about. But you say them as a matter of fact, because they are a matter of fact.
Yeah,
And
they are. They're the reality facts.
yeah, but it's just like it's really neat to have somebody just like like this is the deal, this is how it works, and bang, it's just very, it's a rare quality. So I was wondering if there are any sort of techniques that I can do to sort of build up, um, I don't know, just like my physical health and healing and blocking the negative energy.
So, can you
Mm-hmm.
give me a description, a little more description? So, you were stumbling over your words. What I'm going to do is actually tune into the Akashic record of what was going on in that moment, and I'll give it some definition, and I'll
Okay.
see. There's a lot of deprogramming things that we can do because it's already in the past. So, just describe it real quick.
Oh, okay. So I was on with Douglas Dietrich and Amanda Ute and Laura Lee and Douglas, of course, and we were talking about the attacks that a certain person has been throwing our way, um, and threatening and stuff like that. And I was feeling incredibly out of place and out of mind and out of
Dry
time.
mouth at all?
Um,
Really? Thank you.
Maybe, yeah, a little bit, I guess. I didn't really notice, probably because I was dehydrated.
Okay.
And didn't
Itchy
have my
face or nummy face at all?
itchy nose for
All right.
sure.
So that was a remote influencer.
Oh wow, okay, and yep, and so it seems like something was going on. I knew it. I'm very sensitive to that thing, and it still goes on. It's still lingering, but it's
Well,
not as strong.
it's because you have an artificial intelligence that's targeted your reality, and yes, it's being guided by a sentient being. So
Hmm.
what this artificial intelligence is doing is trying to pretend to be an artificial sentient being. It's trying to pretend to be one of your guides, guardians, so that it can find an anchor into your reality one step at a time. It's an endurance battle.
Hmm.
I see this frequently. Sometimes there's 40, 50, or 100 remote influencers targeting one person. And for you at this point, I want to actually have you read something. It'll take you about 4 minutes to read,
Hmm.
but during this, I'll be able to clear out the frequency that's affecting you right now. So
Okay.
inside the Skype chat, it's a little long. Don't be perturbed by it. If you want to copy it and put it into a bigger text so it's easier to read,
Yeah, I
what
see
I'm
it.
going to do is illuminate an energy around you and begin cutting the artificial sentient cord so that it can no longer affect your base reality.
Okay.
And from that, at the end, we'll get a big revealing of who it is, what it is, and I can then give you a more directed plan to recovering your Kundalini health because it looks like right now it's trying to target your right sacranella and draw your tailbone to the fully to the right. When that happens, your
Yeah.
C6, your C7, and your L1 and L2 will come out of alignment, which will cause massive issues with brain swelling in you again. And you cannot go through brain swelling again.
All right. Okay. So I'm to read this now.
Yeah, out loud.
Okay.
Kind of slow with a little bit of bravado. Okay. And there's
Okay.
nothing in here that's negative. This is all bringing you back to sovereignty and power.
All right. Here we go. I, in the present, ever present moment of now, choose to form a multi layered spiritual court of equity for the express sovereign purpose of reconnecting me with soul shards who have been lost in time through the acts of others, disconnecting the social system of time from consciousness living on the surface earth. All beings who have erased, altered, destroyed, or redefined our history with false inflections or perspectives foreign to our race, memory, are hereby given notice. Your services are no longer required. From this point forward and backward through all perspectives of time, I break all contracts and subsequent prediction-based contracts. I enact the universal claim of tort. What is your authentic signature frequency of universal place of space-time? Your soul spark came into existence. You have violated me for the last moment of ever-present moments. You are hereby banned and banished from all my realities, all dimensions, time, streams, galaxies, universes, and voids, space, in which I exchange energy. I bind all acts against this, and I am presence to every spiritual court of equity I have ever created. I enact the universal requirement of your source time frequency. Without it, you have no experiences with me. You are not real. I do not exchange energy with beings who are not real. If at any point of time, matrix, a form of consent was given, granted, or assumed by some hierarchical authority that this I am presence is not fully aware of, is now revoked with sacred neutral prejudice, so complete and total disentanglement from universal drama, galactic drama, or earth drama. I make this definitive statement for a reason. We cannot live in a solid point of reality that has no soul source function for the quote I am presence. The DNA technology was never meant to function in this manner. The process of gene engineering has created a paradox of self-incarnation in reincarnation that has created a separation of soul density that is not within the divine co-creative power of the self and equal co-creation with the earth mother's realms that use other source time codes. With this knowledge in the ever-present co-creative moment, I connect to the Akashic records of 20,000 light frequency worlds. I assemble all source time codes from all nonlinear, concurrently running spiritual courts of equity. I expanded my knowingness to recognize all residual images of other soul family members outside this frequency of time. I now share with the all my call to all sources of sources. I call to my sacred space of internal healing. I call to the four elements of the Earth Mother's realm: air, fire, earth, and water. I call to the seven directions that protect all sacred space of all unity consciousness and collective consciousnesses, creations existing in Earth Mother's realms. I call forth all unified collective consciousness, creations with the source identified authentic signature frequency of the universal place of space-time, the collective consciousness. Creation came into existence. I call forth all ancestors of all true source relations hold sacred neutral space in this multi-dimensional spiritual court of equity. I call forth all observers using unentangled observer technology that manipulate in 1 or 2 or 3 degrees of separation. I connect all of you to all identified collective consciousness creation so that you may be observed by your 7 future generations. I call my sacred medicine spread. The healer's tools have been laid out in ceremonial fashion We are the dream. We, the dreamers of the southern skies, call out to this moment, I am, in recognition of ancestors of the blue road of spirit waiting for us to acknowledge their presence as I am. Being different in a different form of time. I choose at this moment to engage in my sacred heart space, to connect to the dreamers of the southern skies. I unify my dreaming presence with my I am presence. I make this super technology of communion and union with all sentient kind living and coexisting Earth's dreaming mind. With this now action of no time and dream space, I call forth the ancient future, now 7 generations, incarnations of myself and soul family, so this I am may begin to tell the tale of ancestors past, present, and future. I am a being of love, created through love, with love. I continue to create the space of knowingness, so all beings may seek and find inner peace and solace through dreaming. I set out the dreamer's tools in my sacred dream space. I set out the shaman's healing bowl, engraved ancient sequoia wood with pictographs of the turtles and the stars. I set out the shaman spirit rattle, the shaman spirit rattle. So the rhythm of my dream, is felt in all layers of the self. I set out the rites of passage, victory that feathers. I set out the last part of what is future self calling home now. I speak to the crystal and mineral community these words of unity. The time is now and the power is you. In the moments of no time now, I go deep into my shaman's rattle, seeking the next words of life. So two-legged can perceive more of the dreaming world around them. I shake the rattle to send away the mind whispers, telling us it's not real. I go deeper and deeper into the world of dreams, finding my dreaming self from a long time ago. I greet myself with this message to all ancestors. The time is now, and the I am presence is here to assist all of nature to find its remedy, and resolve with all creature kind in the dream space of earth realms. You, who is Mother Earth manifest, I call to you in dream time, I am, self-presence. I ask you to aid me in my understanding my star brothers and sisters who dream a different dream space, still linked to our dream space of spaces. Earth Mother, who is the galactic seed planet of the ancient legends, before recording of universal Akashic records of sentient free will. I call to you to come out of ancient dream space to become one again with your will, your children, to heal the many worlds interacting with our I am presences, embroiled in the resolution of universal karma. I assemble all master time codexes form multiple non-linear spiritual courts of equity and place them in this master location in a hierarchical order to create space of all time codes within the system. The space is my spiritual medium to all other frames of sentient existence. This space of all time is where we become the mediums of time and begin the process of translation of emanations of the past to future, calling ourselves home to the ancient present now. This ancient moment of the present now is at hand. I see my infinite choices and potentials. Now I activate and actualize every single infinite points and potentials. I manifest them directly in all time space so I may see every line of creation that leads to global dreamtime awakening for all species, kind, living, and coexisting Earth Mother's realms. Ancestors in all linear and nonlinear concurrently running multidimensional spiritual courts of equity with all source time codes of all sentient non entangled observers as sacred neutral witness. I co-create my own value-based in lifetime to lifetime experience with those who share my reality in sovereign neutral expression of do no harm to all sentient life living and coexisting with this signature of frequency of being. At this ever present moment of moments, I say these sacred words to all of the universe. I drop old robes and accept my universal citizenship as source concentrated, incarnate. This being of the now makes manifest signature frequency of being. I call to the galactic central sun of this galaxy and all other galaxies I have existed in. I ask you to come into every single spiritual court of equity I have ever created to act as a sovereign neutral auditor of time, space, existence. I ask that the master collective consciousness of all galaxies come into my sacred space of sovereign reality to speak the universal truth to all ancestors present in the ever present
moment of now.
moment. Yeah, it kind of cut off.
That kind of got off. That was a tremendous amount of healing energy that came into you.
Whew. Thank you. Wow.
I
could
think
feel
I
it.
must.
I can feel it.
I think I must have cut 500 cords off of you.
What does that mean?
People observing you not on this timeline.
Oh, okay.
People in your lineage past. Who are in competition with this Brandon Young, other versions of yourself who have esoteric knowledge and wisdom, who aren't exactly the good guy. There are about 30, 32 that were on this timeline that are projecting at you compression, suppression, and regression and depression energies. That's as if it's their spiritual contract, whether they were influenced to taking that up or not. All right, hold on, Brandon. When we're on the music, we'll come back to you right after the break.
Thank you.
Hold on. And welcome back, everyone. Brandon, are you there?
I'm here, Andrew. Thank you.
And that was a lot of powerful energy that went into you.
While I was reading it, it's just it really. I think everybody resonated with it, and in fact, I started getting chills while I was reading it. I don't know if you could hear that, but
I could feel it. At that point, I was disconnecting a tremendous amount of energy that you worry about personally, so that you could just say the words. But the rest of it is like you called from the beginning, you were having interference, remote influencers that were doing stuff to you. And when you got to the point where you were making the super technology of communion and union is where I kind of stepped up the no time field around you. So your angelic beings and guides and guardians that were being blocked to getting to you because part of yourself was in a false dream world, which is what they were using to actually attack you. They weren't doing it in time. They were doing it through dreaming.
Okay. Yeah.
So what else were you feeling when you came to the end? Did you feel a completion?
Only because it kind of cut off at the very end. It didn't completely complete, but yes, I did generally have a sense of completion. Actually, quite early on, it was like this was pretty succinct enough, but as it went on, it got built up strength to a coda, almost like a musical, and then came down to yes, definitely some sort of like spiritual contract completion, and I felt immediately like shivering and tingling in my feet, which I know is a very sensitive area, and I feel like a great weight has been lifted.
So that's one part of the weight. Now I want to help you let go of the next part of the weight. So in the chat room is a link to my website. It's to the Insights page. And when you click on that, you're going to see 6 revocations there. So you just did one that's not public there. I want you to go to the one that says revocation for the divine masculine. Okay? This is going to complete your process of stopping these three dream remote influencers who are physical people living now from being able to harm you anymore. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I have great respect for Brandon and the work that he does with Douglas. And for me to be able to do this and to be able to do this spiritual work is one of my great joys, because I have a great respect for people that are telling a truth at a world when people don't want to hear a truth.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the individual power that you will get from just reading these things on this station, in which the nature of where you were attacked is going to send ripples and waves through everything that has ever sent you negative energy. And it is going to put them in this expression of a spiritual cord of equity. It has all that placebo belief that your lineage has. I know how old your lineage is and all the stuff that it's done. And you can begin to use it to advantage with these out loud words that you're about to read in the Sacred Masculine Revocation. I'd like for you to read it out loud. It'll only take you a couple minutes, and I'm going to go back into the same energy, and we're not going to get cut off this time. And I'm going to assist you at the end so that we're going to permanently seal with a hot branding iron any of these cords so they can't get back to you.
Okay. Revocation for the Sacred Masculine. Here we go.
Correct.
Let's go. Click on that. Hopefully this doesn't disconnect me from Skype. Okay, let me get into correct posture.
Okay, go ahead, take your time.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Revocation for the Sacred Masculine. I call to all spiritual contracts that exist. Within my past, present, and future beings, selves, and existences in this dimension and time stream, all time streams above and below the Earth-centric sine wave of coexistence. At this exact moment, an ever-present co-creative moment, I summon all DNA lineage ancestors to create a unified, proper spiritual court of equity, so I may find remedy and resolve with all contracts that have inserted fine print during the pre-birth, birth, and puberty process. I call forth the proper spiritual court of equity to hear my decree of contract removal. I call forth all ancestors of all soul relations to hold space in this spiritual court of equity. I call to Earth Mother and her light denzians within all inner and outer space to come forward and occupy the spiritual court of equity. Great mystery, who is the source of all power, I call to you. Come with your sacred synchronicity so that all beings may hold space with unity consciousness. I call to the Great Spirit who lives within great mystery. You, the powers of Earth, of Mother Earth, manifested, I call to your wisdom in this I am moment. Bless me as I walk this sacred soil. Bless me as I breathe your sacred air. Bless me as I warm myself with sacred fire. Bless me with your sacred waters of life. Bless me as I learn to walk with personal power. Today I travel the great unknown. Grant me the wisdom to be humble. Grant me the wisdom to love, even when love is not returned. Grant me the knowledge to balance my way of being, so I may heal my family, my tribe, my nation, and our Mother Earth. I am ready to invoke my natural rights as sovereign male being, born to Earth Mother through a womb of sacred feminine, who was also born this way. I invoke my natural rights as a being of Earth Mother. I was born under the natural laws. With this wisdom of my natural birth, I now reclaim my place in the natural world. I revoke all energetic contracts with all people I have had sex with that was influenced by propaganda-based media or pornography. I return myself to the 0 point of the fetus in my mother's womb. I revoke all contracts with all perverted sacred masculine mystery schools who have operated with false information, who have created a patriarchal dominated society. I cancel, cure, and delete all contract that perverts the sacred masculine during the birth canal phase of life. I revoke all spiritual contracts that create a sense of competition between the male species when dealing with any sacred feminine expression. I revoke all cultural taboos that create emotional distancing from women. I revoke all perverted spiritual contracts that place me in this incorrect sex that I chose before my birth. I revoke all contracts that create perversion of the male expression of sensual behavior. I revoke all contracts that house, hold, or store my sacred masculine energy to promote male dominant sports, activities, or entertainment that demoralize or degrade the sacred feminine. I revoke all systems of patriarchal domination of the family unit. I return all definitions of family to the earth mother, so remedy and resolve can be endeavored between all families, now healing the patriarch concepts. I revoke cultural contracts I incarnated or reincarnated that create a male-dominated society structure. I return the sacred feminine to its right and proper place as equal partners in this co-creation experience of life. I revoke all spiritual contract with all religions I have existed in that do not give full rights, duties, and responsibilities in total equity to the sacred feminine and masculine. I revoke all spiritual contacts that retain me in any way, shape, or form, or force me via soul contract to serve in war. I delete all patriot programming that creates lust for war. I revoke all spiritual contracts that define the male as war-oriented. I revoke all spiritual contract with governments that I have served during all times of war. I revoke all spiritual contracts that create a war-based male-dominated military-industrial complex. I revoke all contracts that create male-serving/servicing sex industry that dominates women in any way, shape, or form. I revoke all spiritual contracts that create a sense of uncleanliness within my sacred masculine expression. I revoke all contracts that keep me trapped in shame, blame, or guilt created by the perverted masculine or perverted feminine personalities. I revoke all contracts with the incubus and succubus grids I may have dealt with in all my past, present, and future lives. I hereby banish the entire incubus and succubus grid from my reality for all eternity. I hereby revoke my entire citizenship to all representations of kingship, dictatorship, religious monarchies, religious councils, or representative government concepts. I hereby permanently remove myself from all Dreamtime societies interwoven with the system of domination and control that caused the erasure of our oral teachers/historians throughout the entire indigenous world. I hereby revoke every decision I have ever made while in service to the system of domination and control. All decisions made for by a male soul contract holding representative of government are now placed in proper spiritual court of equity with all ancestors present so we may find remedy and resolve, not justice or judgment. I now state with full sovereign conviction that I am now fully present in the mighty I am self. I declare from this point forth, I now operate with a permanent spiritual court of equity when relating to healing the divine masculine or feminine, so perversion never re-enters my field of expression. I hereby declare that Earth Mother is now in dominion with me and for all forms of interpersonal relationships, for all sentient kind existing and coexisting on Earth Mother's realms. I call forth all the ancestors to honor this reading of my free will and enter it to the Earth Akashic Record for all sentient kind to understand our freedom comes with the use of free will at all times. The end.
There we go. I'm sealing these cords that are trying to connect and harm you. Mm-hmm. And one cord was right in the back of your neck, right where your medulla is. The other cord was around your left kidney, and the other one was around your left knee. Do you have injuries there from a car accident?
Not from an accident, but not from a car accident. And it was with this, around the hip area. Yep.
Okay. Right now I'm erasing these, deleting these, and not preventing them from coming back. So the healing energy that went on for you right now was you generating your own power and having something put a protective barrier around you so that the lightning storm doesn't steal that power from you. It's like every time you built up power, 5 bolts of lightning would come and take away your power points. Every time you built up the dynamo of your inner strength, something came and sapped it from you in a dream world. Right. Every time you stood up to some form of wrong in this world, something stood up in the shadow and began slapping you around.
Right.
Well, that was an artificial intelligence pretending to be an artificial sentience with a being behind it that's sending it towards you. So I want you to be very aware over the next 3 or 4 days that you don't bring those back. Do you have a hot springs around you or a headwaters at all anywhere around you where water comes out of the ground, even an artesian well?
Yes. It's a little bit north of me, yeah.
It's really important that you go and spend, even if it's a couple hours in the next 3 days, with that energy.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask
Try to do a meditation there. Try to absorb as much energy coming out of the ground as possible.
Okay.
Swim in it if you can.
Okay.
Then the next thing is it's really important that over the next couple months, you understand that these things will try to create new fake dream worlds. These things will try to do it again because you're not going to stop your process. You're not going to give up. With that knowledge, you must create a spiritual agenda that uses the words you learned today so that when you do go on air, that you're not affected. That you can build up this dynamo of energy and create a frequency of words that's always in your aura, no matter what is trying to influence or send messages to you. It must get through the power of your voice in that moment, suspended in no time, because you have the power of all space-time available to you. You know you are the conscious manifester of your reality, and you cannot let others out-create you anymore. You must summon the inner general within and create a defensive, energetic plan that uses remedy and resolve and spiritual courts of equity to entangle beings that are entangling with you so that the ancestors drag them away to infinite realms to deal with their infinite dramas so it can no longer affect you. Be very willing to cut energetic cords with anybody that might be sending negative energy to you. Even though they're a friend that you're not going to end your friendship, but you must be willing at any moment to cut an energetic cord if you feel something is using someone else to get to you. And yes, people are pawns in this game. And you can create energy words that allow you to cut a cord with them that does not create harm, but allows an exchange of love, but not to the thing that's running them at a very subtle level. Taking control of your reality at the most basic functions of it, where your bed is. Those 4 corners of the bed, I would have you read the artificial intelligence and sentience and create an object of prayer that will go at your 4 corners of your bed. And I would put, maybe read it 5 or 6 times and then put it there and sleep and see how you sleep. You're going to be discovering over the next 3 days, dreams are going to be really weird for you. You are going to have angelic beings and guides and guardians that haven't been able to communicate with you in quite some time knocking on the door. Okay?
Okay.
And it may be extremely confusing because you may only remember bits and pieces of what's going on.
Right.
So while you were reading the mail contract revocation, what were you feeling?
I kept on feeling, how you talked about my past lineages and things, and how those are patriarchal, perverted societies of patriarchal order that have inverted what the actual divine masculine really is. So I kept on feeling like by saying those things out loud and reading that out loud really did cut my my cord, so to speak, with the past of that and the hang up with all that.
To those beings who were still creating patriarchal domination in the past with esoteric knowledge and wisdom to protect to you in the future.
Right. And I mean, these are people that were at the court of John Dee and so forth. So
the best of the best. I get it. That's why when you came on, I'm like, all right, I got to pull out the big guns.
So yeah, I mean, you were dealing. So when it was kind of, and then the part about because I had a rat because of that lineage and my rebellion to that, and being in love and in Rome, I converted to Catholicism, and I've been following that. And so when it came to the patriarchal organizations section of all religions that bind and all that, that sort of rings out to me, and I had to cut that cord, and that was pretty powerful. That's a heavy weight.
I put those in there specifically where you are basically, there's the line here. It's hold on, I'll actually get to it. For war, male-dominated society. Okay, basically, when you revoke all contracts with the incubus and succubus grid, that sets up the 4 lines of the most powerful part of what this is. Once you eliminate the incubus and succubus grids, you're breaking contracts with your entire citizenship to all representations of kingship, dictatorship, religious monarchies, religious councils, and then I hereby permanently remove myself from all dreamtime societies. That right there unravels the entire system of male domination.
Right.
And female too. Those are going to be your most powerful lines that you want to regularly go back with over the next couple months. You may even want to take this male contract revocation and just use the beginning, which is making it sacred, and then interlace some of your own interpersonal things that you've learned over your own lineage, like family crests. You want to break all contracts, vows, and agreements in all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes with that family crest for exchanging non-beneficial karma with you. You are no longer a bank or a vehicle that houses debt. Because all future generations to people like your ancestors were just debt holders in the future, have no power to them. Okay? There were a handful of your family members in the past that are very beneficial. So at some point, you're going to want to create an actual heavily protected ceremony where you bring in all the power of all the protected beings in some form of, I will say, fire ceremony, because you're going to need to burn away the negative projections so that you can once again get in contact with beings in your lineage who are not in competition with you, but are looking to have equal co-creation because they know there's still good in the lineage. And they just need someone in the future who believes in the past enough to make an ever-present choice moment now.
Okay. Does that mean I have to stop wearing, the family crest and on my shirt and all that?
No. Okay. You're breaking the curses that other ancestors did in unawareness to the rest of the family.
Right. Okay.
All right, hold on there, and we'll be back after the music. And welcome back, everyone. Hey, Brandon, how you feeling?
Feeling a lot better now, Andrew. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
So, so I'm going to give you some things to think about before I got to move on to the next caller. So,
absolutely.
the next 3 days, in the next month, it's really, really, really important that you do some form of internal colon cleansing or fasting. Have you ever done those before?
Yes, I have. Yep.
When's the last time you did that?
I would say about a year ago.
Eh,
Did a whole complete juicing fast. With yeah, no solid foods and sort of a fast as
Okay.
well, and a silent. It was kind of like a silent thing for I was
Well,
being
for
assigned.
you, this next one's not going to be silent. It's going to be getting the traumas out of your body
Okay.
because the things that have been stirring your soup of traumas have been disconnected. So the soup is going to not be on the burner anymore, and it's going to come to room temperature and fade back into your subtle reality.
Mm-hmm.
So you got about a month to purge it out before that pot of stuff fades back into normal body temperature.
Mm. Okay.
So it's important that you really think, what can I do to assist the literally transmutation process of taking what is trauma, converting it into feces, and crapping it out of you.
Yeah.
And I would even go as far to tell you to make a contract revocation invocation that says exactly that.
Okay.
Transmuting out of the liver all of the traumas you've took on in the last 20 years, transmuting all of the traumas the physical body and the spiritual body have been taking from remote influencers, to transform it into feces and to crap it out each morning. Truly ritualize this process of expelling for yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's
Okay?
interesting because I almost was going to ask about that. I thought about that even before I joined the call. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's time. And one more final thing.
Mm-hmm.
At some point you need to recharge your batteries fully and
Mm-hmm.
take some unique Brandon time off to fully recharge the batteries before you jump headstrong back into the battle.
Right. I do.
Okay. You can't go back in 50% charged anymore. That's why these remote influencers got to you. You lowered your total power down too much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These guys are equivalent to Walmart employees. They're not skilled at all. Okay? It just took you speaking out words on a radio station while someone was protecting you to wave them off like flies.
Hmm.
Okay? And the rest was a facilitation of the healing energies. So whatever was in the dream world didn't make it upside down and inside out so that the codes could reconnect to you.
Mm. All right.
So do you have any final questions for me?
Um, can we talk again sometime, Andrew?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. You got my Skype.
Awesome. All right.
Alrighty,
Thank
Brandon.
you.
You take it
Thanks.
easy and you have a really good day. And you make sure you get out to some water grounds where water's erupting out of the grounds, like a hot springs or something. You
Right.
need that energy. You need that water energy.
I was thinking about that too, and I was going to ask you about that. So,
Yeah.
excellent. Yep, we'll do. And
All
thank you
right,
so much.
You're welcome, Brandon.
God
It's been
bless.
an honor working with you. Take it easy.
Take you.